Welcome to the Wolfkeeper, a show that's just about everything that you can maybe think about, everything that you can feel that's inside of your heart. What I need for you to do right now is spend the next hour relaxing. Just stop your day before you go into 12 o'clock. And I just want y'all to close your minds, open your hearts, and relax and go on this journey with me. It's a beautiful place that you're about to go, because I want to make you feel, I want to just open you up and think about some things you never really thought about. Right now, the Wolfkeeper. Come on. Good morning, y'all. Come on. It's the Wolfkeeper show. Get ready. Come on, let's go. Yeah. Woo. Yeah. It's the Wolfkeeper show. Your boy, Torriano Sanzoni. Yeah. Chanelli Nell. My boy Tyrone Scott somewhere rocking the Doogie Dogs. Denzel's in his house. Shacky Shack. And for all the people out there that love us, we love you back. Thank you all. Get ready for an amazing show with the Wolfkeeper. Get ready. Here we go. I'm loving what you two are doing, because in our pet industry, this is a big deal for my non-pet owners. It's a big deal. The tummy of your favorite puppy, they get upset tummies. And I mean, vets, I'm just going to call it as I see it. There's some vets that are out there that'll say, you know what, give them some pumpkins, stay home, save your money, call me if it keeps going on. And there's some vets, clients walk out with like 3 shopping bags of like medication. Take this at this time of day. Take 3 of these. Take 4 of these.
With $1 million bill, I'm just like,
and Chanel,
that was way too expensive.
Well, Chanel, you probably spent over $1 million on Bentley because you love your doggy so much. And Chanel,
yeah, but I'm just like looking for natural remedies to, if he has any sicknesses. We're going to try to work these natural remedies out. Give him some apple cider.
Well, Chanelli, today, Holley and Carlton are going to answer all your puppy tummy issues they've created a product that is going to help out with the doggies. And that's so super huge.
I'm excited.
You don't even know how big of a deal this is, because that's probably, I'm sorry, but I'm going to attack the vet industry today, because there's great vets, as they say with cops. There's good apples and there's bad apples, but there's people out there.
But they're just collecting money.
I believe there's some that take advantage of people that don't have a lot of money, but you all have come up with a technology, medication, if you will, that can help out with the belly. So, Holley, let's start with you. Introduce yourself to the world. We're making you instant famous here.
Hi, I'm Holley Gans. I am a microbiologist and I'm working to help dogs and cats with their tummy troubles.
Ooh, I love that. Carlton, introduce yourself.
Hi, this is Carlton Osborne. Holley and I are married, so we're in the same Corona bubble. And so I'm a recovering lawyer. I have been in business on the business side for over 15 years, and I'm the CEO of Animal Biome. And this is really Holley's brainchild. And so 5 years ago, when she was a researcher at UC Davis, looking at the microbiome of cats, I was like, I think there's something here. And so I've been in the background supporting, and then I joined full time almost 2 years ago.
I love it. You guys are like the smartest couple in the world. These are like, I'm putting hashtag couple goals. A scientist and a lawyer connecting. How'd you all meet?
So
Well, actually, I guess technically we met in middle school. We started dating in our senior year.
Aww. Not even high school sweethearts. Middle school sweethearts?
high school. We didn't start dating until high school.
Okay, but you knew each other in middle school.
That's right. I sat behind her in geometry.
Oh, did he pull your hair?
Aww.
Was he trying to get your attention?
And so we went to DLN Wilson in DC.
Yeah, we're originally from Washington, D.C.
DC is one of my favorite cities. I think that's good. And you all are so indicative of DC because when you're walking around DC and you'll go to a bar and you're like, oh, hey, good to meet you. What do you do? And it's like, oh, I design embassies. You're like, what? Like, oh, what do you do? I'm an arms dealer. Like, what? Like, everyone in DC is doing something. You all are totally, hi, I'm a scientist. I'm a lawyer. We make animal products. Like, I love that. That's so fly. Chanel, we got to get our weight up, girl. We got to get our weight up.
I know.
Goals.
Yay.
All right.
I'm working on it.
So,
Gotta get up there.
Holley, how did you get to the point? I love this because that's some serious, I want to help the world when you're thinking about a doggy's belly. How did you get to that point? I need to know.
Well, I started with a project on cats called Kitty Biome, where I basically offered if people sent cat poop to me at UC Davis, I would sequence the bacteria in it and just sort of tell them what the microbiome of the cat looked like based on a poop sample.
Oh, wow.
And so basically the microbiome is a community of microorganisms. A lot of times we focus on the bacteria there, and they can play really important roles in the gut and helping the body to function. So
wow. Can I pause you for 1 second? Because that's the second time I've heard about poop just tells all, because somebody was telling me about people were tracing poop in Italy or Spain and figuring out that Corona's been around for a while. Were you telling me this or someone else?
No, but yeah, no, I have friends who are working on, like, they're looking at, wastewater as a way of finding out how long the coronavirus has been present in sort of archival samples, and then monitoring for it now in our communities.
Poop tells all.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
Chanel, did you know that?
No.
Poop.
I mean, yeah, but like,
Kind of,
I
sort
don't
of.
really talk about poop.
Chanel,
He gets excited about
Chanel's
poop.
poop shy. She's poop shy, all right.
Yeah. we have potty conversations all the time.
But Holley, so you got cat poop coming in, and then from there, did you specifically start with cat poop, or could it have been dog poop? Like, how did you determine cats first?
I was a researcher, and one of the professors that I worked very closely with was really passionate about cats, and I love dogs and cats, so we started with cats. At that time, also, we thought that cats ruled the internet, so we thought, let's see if cats, and science can go together, and we actually did really well with a crowdfunding campaign we ran on Kickstarter. But what I learned from talking to people about their pet cats was that between 10 and 20% of them had a cat with chronic diarrhea or chronic vomiting. And I started to wonder how common that was and if that was representative in the US population. And what we found was that for both dogs and cats, it's somewhere between 10 and 20% that have these problems, which is the same. 20% of people in the US have a chronic digestive condition.
Wow. When we say chronic, are we talking about, like, I'm putting the cheeseburger down? Not that I eat cheeseburgers, but if I did, cheeseburger goes down, but my stomach's not feeling right. And that's a consistent thing.
Do you want me to take that?
Yeah, sure.
So we're actually working on a blog post to really describe this like definitively. But you can sort of, so every dog, every person is going to get diarrhea sometimes.
Okay.
Right? And it should resolve itself within 48 hours, and it's no big deal. For some pets and people, it goes beyond 48 hours, and that's really acute. And so it's basically like, you know, stomach flu or something like that, and it goes on for days.
Okay.
And generally, you should address it. But what Holley's talking about, the chronic is defined as diarrhea or digestive issues that go on for more than 3 weeks. It can be off and on. It can be varying in intensity. But it goes on. And many of our customers have pets that have been suffering with this kind of off and on again diarrhea, vomiting for years. And that's it's really tragic when you have a pet that's suffering like that for so long.
So question, when you say suffering, like how does one, is that like, I know, are we determining suffering because why does my dog consistently always have diarrhea? I mean, because they can't talk, so how do we get to that point of saying, okay, my dog needs to take your medication?
So they show they're listless, they have reduced energy, they lose weight. So there are many behavioral signs associated with these chronic health conditions that, like inflammatory bowel disease, which is one common chronic digestive condition for dogs.
Okay.
Yeah. And so the thing is, we were talking about poop earlier and how important it is, how much it tells us. The gut is really the center of all health for people and for our pets. And so diarrhea or vomiting is a sign of something going on in the gut. And so even though our pets can't talk to us and tell us they're feeling down, we have to like look at the signs.
Okay.
And if you have a pet that has this on and off diarrhea, it can present really bad long-term consequences. And so you need to address it before it becomes, lymphoma or something else that really is life-threatening.
Yeah, because basically this chronic inflammation in the gut is associated with the development of gastrointestinal cancer.
Wow. So how many animals have you tested this on? Have we asked that?
We've collected fecal microbiome samples from more than 5,000 dogs and cats.
Wow.
Right. And so just because I know we talked about this, Toriano, but maybe to explain it to the listeners. So we have a test where you send us in a little bit of poop and we tell you what's going on with your pet's gut. And then we also have a solution. Like if we look at what's going on in your gut and we see that there's an imbalance, what we have is a gut restoration supplement, which is a fecal transplant in a capsule. Okay. And that then addresses it. So we've tested over 7,000 cats and dogs.
Okay.
And we've had about 3,500 to 4,000 actually take our capsules. And what we found is that in about 80% of the pets who take the capsules, their clinical signs, their diarrhea, vomiting, improve. And then for many of them, it's like they only have to do like one round of it, and then it sort of solves the problem until something else disrupts it. And so yeah, 4,000 cats and dogs. That's it's not a small number, but there are a lot more that are suffering from it.
So once they take this, is it ongoing? Will they have to use it all the time, or is it like take it one time and they're good?
It depends. I mean, I think that most of the time it's one time and they're good. Maybe they need to do it twice. But there are some animals that have a genetic probably predisposition, an autoimmune disorder, which can be associated with like inflammatory bowel disease or some skin conditions like atopic dermatitis, and they may need longer term use of it. Though usually the people who have pets with these conditions find that to be preferable to steroids and other medications, which can cause other health problems.
Yeah.
You guys, I'm so fascinated because are you guys like out at lunch and dinner and you're like, hey, how are we going to take over the world by fixing dogs' tummies? Like this. Because that's some commitment. I mean, you guys are like going against Big Pharma, because Big Pharma, someone out there is saying, you're not going to take away my Giardia appeals. You're not going to take care of all these other things that we can't even pronounce, because that's, I mean, it's a $1 billion industry. I mean, it's close to $30-40 billion. That's part of the, $80 billion pet industry. And here you are, you two coming from DC with all your smartness, ready to disrupt Big Pharma. So where do you fit in that equation? Like, how are you not going to get just squashed like an ant and going? Because that's you guys are in it. You're committed. Like,
yeah.
what's the game?
It's. I mean, we're definitely committed, and it's not just pharma, right? Because it's a $90 billion industry for pet care, right? A significant part of it is food, and so one of the things that our test shows is if the food that you're feeding your pet isn't really giving them the right balance of what we call macronutrients,
right?
The ratio of protein, fat, carbohydrates, and fiber. And so there are a lot of pet foods out there that sustain our pets, but really aren't good for them, right?
I love you again. You're saying, I say that all the time.
Right, exactly.
Huge.
So we're taking
Right.
pet food. And then
they just keep them alive.
Probiotics.
What's that?
Probiotics.
Oh, and then there are probiotics out there so the probiotics on the market were isolated from soil and for human babies. And only one of the probiotics out in the market can you really say actually have microbes that are native for cats and dogs, right? And so probiotics can provide some relief, but they're not fundamentally going to fix the underlying problem. So we're taking them on too, right? Because we want to educate people that probiotics were developed for humans, and not all those probiotics are actually good for cats and dogs, right?
So you just made me think about something. How do you feel about the probiotic? Because a lot of people now are selling animal goat milk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want to?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. So fermented foods are really good for the microbiome. I think there's still more research that we need to do, but for people as well as pets, I think there's definitely strong indications that those are beneficial. And I think they'd be preferable to taking a probiotic. I think a lot of probiotics are unnecessary, just like a lot of us don't eat vitamins either if you're getting a balanced diet.
So, but then
there are fermented goat milk like microbes in fermented goat milk that you can't get anywhere else. So that's why we think it's probably a pretty good thing.
So, but you just brought up a super interesting point. You aren't just potentially disrupting Big Pharma. You also, too, are disrupting the dog food industry, because, I mean, a lot of the foods, if I go to, Walmart and buy a big bag of Old Roy, the big dumb bag, as my mom calls it, the dumb bag, the 100-pound bag for $15. If I feed a dog some Old Roy, their stomachs are going to be jacked up. I mean, I'm guaranteed some diarrhea. I mean, and some people they'll live with the dog throughout that whole experience. The dog, I mean, some people just perpetually are picking up soupy poop because that's they just think that's how it should be. I mean, these big old globs of poop all over the yard, or Alpo, or some of the lower end foods, which we know that some of the higher end foods, and my dog's on raw food, so I'm using oatmeal. I use a supplement called Nupro, which is amazing. This woman, she blacked out, but I've been using it for like 20 years. But my dog's poop is solid. It's hard. You can almost like crumble it. It comes out. It's good. They poop like twice a day at the max. But I mean, there's we see a variance. And now in the beginning of dog food, I mean, there used to be just option Alpo, strong carb, and science diet. Now you go to there's like 5 different aisles. There's like cheap stuff, the mid grade, and stuff that you can't even pronounce because it's from Europe. So and all of them affects the dogs differently. So because you're also combating the dog food industry, because how can you determine it's just a bad dog food versus this dog having digestive issues?
Mm-hmm. That's right. Well, that's usually where we start, is that we recommend that they look into the food, and we can help calculate the macronutrient ratio of the diet. We recommend that they increase the protein content. A lot of the cheaper foods have too many carbohydrates, right, which is contributing to the obesity epidemic in dogs and cats as well. And then, definitely you are what you eat. So we're definitely in favor of raw diets and fresh diets and sort of high quality diets. They're really important as a starting point.
So how do we get rid of Procter & Gamble and Nestle and all these other ones that are making low-end dog foods?
So it's going to be a lifelong battle for us, right? And it's not that we have to get rid of them. We just need to convince them that that it's not enough to sustain pets, that they need to help pets thrive, and that diet is a key part of that. And that people, I think we call them pet parents, not pet owners. And I think because our relationship with our pets is changing, and people want the best for their pets. They're spending more in food because they know that better food is better for their pet. And I think that there's a lot of the industry that is still thinking like it was 50, 60 years ago, where people just want to spend as little as possible on their pets. And I think the industry is changing. I think the consumers are changing, and the industry is going to have to catch up.
Yeah. I'm spending about $100 for Bentley, like 3 bags of food, and the bags are probably like family size potato chip bags.
Is Bentley a small dog?
He's a golden doodle, so a miniature golden doodle, so about 30 pounds.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm sure he's a cutie. And
Spoiled.
Does he have any tummy troubles?
So he doesn't. I know with his he won't eat the dog food plain. So what I started doing was like mixing meat with it. So I'll put like salmon in it or chicken, and he eats it that way. He's spoiled, so we always have to add something to the food. And I don't know if that's the best way, but that's the only way he'll eat it.
Well, Chanel, what brand are you using?
Dr. Marty's. My dad finds this, and my dad found this brand because I was using Wellness at first, and then my dad was like, "Well, we should try this," and I'm just like, "Well, dude, this is like way out of my budget." But when we got it, he loved it. He started eating it, but with Bentley, he gets bored with food, so it's like you have to switch up. So even with the meats that I put in the food, if he's tired of the fish, he won't eat it at all. And then, then I'll put the chicken in. So it's almost like I have to switch up every now and then. So yeah, he's a handful.
Yeah. But I mean, can you imagine if you had to eat the same food all the time?
Yeah, but I'm just like, I didn't think that, because I've seen a lot of people just, put the dog food out and then that's it. You eat it. But I didn't know I had to like meal prep for him, Like this is my first dog, and I'm like, I tell everybody I should have just had a baby because it's way more responsibility than I thought.
So one of the things that the pet food industry recommends is keeping your dog on the same food forever, and we're big fans of rotating diets. And so that's really what it's telling you is I want to have a rotating diet. And so we recommend sort of reassessing and maybe switching to a different type of food every 3 to 4 months.
Absolutely.
Because that way, if there is anything that's deficient in a food, by switching it on a regular basis, you make sure that you're not creating some sort of chronic.
To it.
Exactly.
Yeah, like the taurine deficiency, the vitamin D deficiency, these things that can crop up with some of the big pet food companies. If you're rotating it, you're not going to be as vulnerable to those problems.
Okay. So you guys do recommend switching brands every so often?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a real thing.
Switching the protein as well, even within brand.
Dana, wait, I have an update. I have Dana Humphrey on Instagram Live. What's up, Dana?
Hey, Dana.
I love this.
We got the pet lady.
Dana, you just mentioned that wellness. Are you using wellness?
You know what? I like to mix it up. I do like wellness. I think it's a great company, but I mix it up. I do Aruba. I do Dr. Marty's. I mix it up for my kitties. They keep it interesting for them.
So I mean, because those are all premium brands, and Chanel's using a premium brand. Because I mean, do you guys have digestive issues with your dogs? I mean, or your pets? I mean, I don't have any digestive issues because I know I spend it on the food. So do you guys have Chanel, Dana? You guys have?
And so too, like, so Billy's so spoiled when he goes to my mom's house, it's like candy land. So they give him a lot of treats. So something like his poop isn't, his poop, we don't have issues with his poop. I know sometimes, if we might switch up on if there's a new treat involved, it may be a little, I can tell that, his poop is a little different. But other than that, like, no, he's pretty solid.
What about you,
He's
Dana?
pretty solid.
Is your kitties poop?
Yeah, that's the thing. They're pretty happy and healthy. So I just keep mixing it up. I mean, I just adopted them like just over a month ago, and they came with some Purina, which I didn't think I'd ever be a Purina person, which I'm not. But I mix it in with them. They like it. They want it. It's like McDonald's. They every once in a while they get a little Purina.
So Holley and Carlton, is that? I mean, because why is it? Because for some animals it works. So Dana's using Purina. If I give my Frenchie Purina, it's gonna be diarrhea city. Like he's gonna look at the bag and start just having diarrhea. Like he won't even have to eat it. Like his Frenchie's stomachs are like they're like don't touch nothing. Let them. They have to eat the same thing their whole life, or they will literally.
Really?
Their whole bodies will explode. Like if they eat anything. But why is that then that some animals, like my cat, I'll admit, I'll turn myself in. I just grab cat food because it doesn't matter what he eats. Like it comes out the same. Like I do what some pet owners do. I go based upon the color of the bag, buy him something. He loves it. Nothing changes. But for some dogs, they go nuts if they change.
I was just asking for your cat, you're giving him wet food.
My cat's on dry food.
Okay. I just want to say with Purina that there are a whole range from dog chow all the way to the Pro Plan, and so it really does depend on which one. We work with breeders who really believe in Pro Plans, so there's definitely some higher quality kibbles out in the market, even from some of these big companies. But Frenchies are definitely known to be very sensitive and have to be prone to some health problems. So I think that you need to be more cautious with them.
Yeah, one of the things that we do studies and research with pet food companies, and where we look at how their food affects the microbiome. And one of the things we found is that really every individual, cat or dog, their microbiome responds to food a little bit different. So you can have like siblings from the same litter in the same house, and you change their food, and their microbiome will respond slightly differently. And so what we're seeing is that, there's some dogs, they're young and healthy, and you can almost feed them whatever you want, and they're going to be fine for a while. But then there are other dogs that, same age, and they're really sensitive. So that's why we always encourage folks to start with the test. It's $75. We'll tell you, we'll describe what's going on, we'll compare it to healthy, and then you can figure out, hey, is this a dog that needs special care or not?
So go ahead.
Maybe you get away with McDonald's every day for a while in your early 20s, but it's probably not going to be a good thing in the long term.
So then, like for me and for Dana, who our cats aren't eating, and then I saw my aunt just joined on here, where her dog ate. Tim? What'd your dog have? Purina? What'd you have?
Are you talking to me or Dana?
What food do you feed your dog?
Are you speaking to me, Trey?
Yes.
Oh, Pro Plan. I like Pro Plan because they have such a big variety in terms of what type of breed you have. But I feed my dog wet and dry, and I alternate with actually adding my own chicken and salmon so that he gets a variety, because dogs shouldn't have to eat the same thing every day, just like people shouldn't have to eat the same thing every day. They get bored with it. So his appetite is always good because he looks forward to having a different meal. But Pro Plan has worked with him as well as with my previous dog, who was on it for 12 years. And it's just a brand that I've stuck to because I've not had any issues, dietary issues, or, issues with the way his poop comes out. It's always, formed and to the consistency that it should be, and he's never had any issues.
So
That's great.
So Holley and Carlton, I think you were starting to say this. I wanted to ask my aunt what she was feeding her dog. So because we're feeding the cats, Purina, she's feeding her dog Pro Plan. Were you starting to say, Holley, as they get older, they can't have the McDonald's, they have to change to something better?
Yes, that's part of it. Also, just, if you eat junk food for, in your early in life, there may be longer term health effects of that. We just don't know. I think that's one thing when we do these studies. We say, look, when you feed a high protein or a raw diet, you have a different microbiome than when you're feeding a high carbohydrate kibble. Some of the food companies say, well, we don't know what's healthy, but it's because we haven't done the long-term research to say that this microbiome leads to better health and longevity, but that's what we're working on. And so in the next 20 years, we'll have the answer to that. But in the meantime, we're sort of just looking at correlations and finding that there are at least associations with obesity and putting on weight, which we know it can lead to many chronic health conditions.
Yeah, another way to think about it is that, 20, 30 years ago, pro athletes, they would eat whatever they wanted, right? They'd have go into the McDonald's with a free Big Mac, right? But now pro athletes really look at what they put in their mouths, right? And the reason they're doing that is that, yes, they're 23 years old and they can eat a Big Mac and it's not going to be a problem, but they perform better when they eat better food. And that's really what we're talking about for cats and dogs.
That's a great way to look at it. Before we go further, and I have more questions about food and nutrition, I have to just talk to Dana Humphrey for a second here. Dana, how is it possible that you curated an entire amazing August so far with this being the 7th guest? How do you know this many smart ass people? Damn.
Well, it's probably because she's just awesome herself. So
they are the pros right now. So you're in good hands for today.
And did you know the fun fact that they are high school sweethearts that they met in grammar school?
Oh, wow.
Were you aware of that?
A long time.
I dug deeper in my interviewing. That is so amazing. I just love the fact that they are here we have two people, a scientist and a lawyer, that came together to come up with something that's a huge deal in the pet industry, because they're not just going after pharma, they're also dealing with the dog food industry, because there's someone that's out there that's and I've heard this before, they have gotten to the point they don't really care about picking up this soupy poop. That's just that's just how it is. You're not gonna make me change. I'm gonna buy Old Roy until I die. That's what my dog's gonna eat. My granddaddy dog ate it. My great granddaddy dog ate it. Old Roy forever. So you're saying that. I mean, I guess the one thing I'm scratching my head on, I'm a little, because part of it is just that it's just bad dog foods that are gonna make any dog. There's some dog foods that are out there, I don't care what dog, they're not gonna do well on. They're gonna poop right away. If you go buy something at the dollar store, give it to a pet, that pet's a beast. That stomach is made of steel if it can survive just the dog food that says dog food on it with no name, no picture, and you pour it out and they eat it and the poop looks normal. So isn't part of this just raising the education of what you feed your animals?
I mean, definitely food is a critical foundational part of what we value. We also think, though, it's really important to get out and walk your dog and take them outside. There are too many of us spending too much time inside, and there are people who don't ever take their dogs outside. They need fresh air and soil and water. they need exercise. He seems all healthy.
Billy is tapping on my feet when I don't take him out. He's looking at me like, hey, are we going out yet? I can't even say the word because if I do, he gets really excited. Like, okay, come on, let's go. He's sitting at the door.
So are you all gonna run testing like from like some like because the testing is gonna be huge. I mean, are you gonna take some puppies and trace them all? You can show over the next 20 years. So is that in the developments right now? Any younger dogs and to bring them to senior age?
We are doing a project now. I don't know if we'll be able to, keep it going for 20 years, but we're working with the leader dogs for the blind on a study because they actually find that some of their breeding moms have trouble with diarrhea during breeding, and some puppies get diarrhea. So we are getting samples from the beginning of life of a number of guide dogs, and we hope to be able to continue that research. We are also supporting the Morris Animal Foundation's Golden Retriever Lifetime Study, and are doing research on the microbiome samples that have been collected for that. I don't know if you've heard about that project.
No, what is that project?
They call it the Girls Project, the Golden Retriever Lifetime Study, and they're doing it because golden retrievers tend to get cancer and die pretty young, and they're trying to figure out why.
Oh
no,
that's a fun fact. I never knew that. So walk me through this. If my dog is having digestive problems and diarrhea, do I need to get a prescription for this through my vet, or can I buy this directly from you guys?
You can buy this directly from us. You can go to our website, animalbiome.com, and you can buy the test as well as the supplements there. We do have about 600 vets that we work with who offer our products. I will say that we're big believers in thinking about the whole dog or cat, and so working with a vet that takes a holistic or integrative approach to your pet's health along with our products is probably the best way if you have a sick cat or dog. But we don't restrict it to just vets. You can come straight to our site and get what you need.
Who did the packaging? Did you see the packaging?
It was a group effort.
A group here in Oakland.
Yeah.
That's our dog Darwin on the front.
It's sexy packaging. Like, I didn't know what this was. I'm like, did I go Amazon crazy? Because you guys are so... Dana, I love them. They just mailed me something in the mail. I got freaked out at first. I was like, did I order something to
yeah, you finally got it. I know Carltol was trying to send it to you. That's good.
Yeah, the packaging looks... So is this what somebody would get in the mail if they bought it from you?
Yeah, so that's our full system. So it has 2 microbiome tests and the supplements.
So you two came up with this together, the packaging?
So it was a group effort. So Holley very early on designed a really nice box, and we did a rebrand at the beginning of the year and sort of upgraded the boxes then. And so we have a small team, everyone from Holley to Alex and Charlotte, we're all involved in this.
I mean, this makes me want to take some because it comes the box by itself is like a little gift box, and then it has directions right on it. This is the most thoughtful packaging that I've seen. And then I'm opening it up right before you got. You don't have to answer this question if you don't want to, but where is this manufactured? Is this here or is this overseas?
Oakland, California.
Yeah, so it's so our printer is here in Oakland, and then we have a printing facility out in a little ways outside of Oakland in Vacaville, and then it's all assembled and made here in the U.S. and in the Bay Area.
That is so awesome because typically this is totally an overseas deal.
Yeah.
So
we like to say it's artisanally made in Oakland.
I love artesian medical people. That is super duper awesome. I really appreciate this this broadcast. And if people want to purchase this, where should they go?
So they go to www.animalbiome, ANIMALBIOME.com, and we have a whole sort of process, and so we call it assess, restore, and maintain. And so if you have a really sick cat or dog, you may know that you want to go straight to the system like Toriano has. But if you're not really sure, you can always start the test. We give you this report, and I noticed one of the comments in the chat here is I'm not really into science. That's cool because you can give our animal care team a call, and they'll explain what the report means and what you ought to do. And a lot of times, just making dietary changes will fix the problem. And so our report will tell you what kind of dietary changes to make.
So I just saw, because this keeps popping in my head, I keep forgetting to ask. Do you recommend that all of us as pet owners that we get our animals tested?
Yeah, so we're working with some vets that are including the test in their annual wellness exam. And the idea is that even if you have a healthy cat or dog, getting their microbiome tested periodically will help guide your choices in terms of what food to feed. And then it can be an early warning sign if there's anything going on with your pet so that you don't have to wait until they have chronic diarrhea to fix it.
So how long does it take to find out about the test?
So we generally ship out the test the next day. So let's say, from the time you order it to the time you get your results, it'll be about 3 weeks. So you'll get the test, send it back. You'll get the results within 1 to 2 weeks from us. And it's a little app that you make a pet profile for your pet. You can upload your photo, tell us all about your pet's medical history. And then that way when the report comes, we can help you understand what you ought to do because we have that history.
Do you guys have veterinarians on your team?
We do. We have a chief veterinary officer named Dawn Kingsbury. She's a incredibly educated woman. She has a DVM. She's a specialist in internal medicine. That's called a diplomat in internal medicine. And she's a PhD. She and Holley work together at UC Davis as well. So she's got lots of letters after her name.
Oh, wow. I love that. So how much is it for the test?
So the test is $75. And what you get is everything you need to do the test. And then you send it in. We do what's called genomic sequencing. So we look at the DNA of all the bacteria, and then we give you that report. And then to supplement, they range from $55 up to $265, depending on the size, whether it's cat or dog, and then how many capsules you need to take or your pet needs to take every day.
So is that also too? They're gonna ultimately tell me okay, you need to change your dog's diet. How much? What is it gonna really break down? What do I get out of that?
Yeah. So the report is, can be a little technical because we're telling you the key bacteria and how it fits within our range. And if you have a challenge with your pet, we strongly encourage you to arrange a 15 or 20 minute conversation with our staff, and then we'll explain, okay, these bacteria are low, and so you need to change the diet in this way. And so there's a lot of information to report, but don't be intimidated. If you have any questions, you can just give us a call.
It's things like increasing the or adding some fiber, things that are easily done.
I think it'll be a fun repeat show, Dana, if we all, because we're all pet owners, if we all took the test, well, not us personally as humans, but that we, wait, humans can't take the test, right?
No, not ours.
No,
Okay.
Please don't.
Please don't. Please don't. That our pets take the test and we come back for a follow-up show with the results.
That's right. We'd love to do that.
That would be cool.
Yeah, then we could show Bentley's report and show how healthy he is.
Show my little crazy friendship report.
Take care of him.
Wow.
You're probably going to say, hey, he eats way too many snacks.
But it's not, even if they're on a perfect diet, it doesn't mean that they're going to have a perfect microbiome. So everybody's different, and sometimes it can indicate things that you can't tell otherwise. It's not like you're going for a gold star. You already got the gold star.
All right.
You're a pet parent. You already win, Chanel. You love your baby. Well, cool. I really appreciate you all. We just ate up an hour really fast because so many. I could literally sit and talk to you all. Well, we already been talking you all, because I can't just overemphasize. It is just a huge problem. And I always feel bad for pet parents that just, I don't want to say they get suckered, but some vets, I mean, they just sell the person the entire medicine cabinet, and then they don't know what they are feeding their dog. These pills, like, he just told me you're supposed to take this pill, this pill, this pill, this, you know. And then some dogs are like on these crazy medications and things their entire life. And unfortunately, sometimes people get frustrated and they get rid of the dog, because then sometimes they'll have people say, I got this dog, but they come with like all of this.
And it's already a headache to try to get them. I know when I'm chasing Bentley to take medicine. He has allergies, so I try to like put it in snacks, put it in a piece of meat. He like dissects it out, like, no, thank you. And it's even some snacks that I put it in to kind of just mask it, and he won't even eat those snacks anymore. Like, nope, I don't trust you.
Yeah. So, Toriano, I just want to get back to something you said, because we see this trend in human health as well. Essentially, people have to be their own advocates for their health, right? And that's the same with our pets. And so, I'm not saying that people shouldn't trust their vets or anything like that, but it's important that pet parents get educated on what's going to be best for their pet, and they make decisions that are right. And so we have about 100 blogs that cover various topics in pet health. And so we encourage pet parents to get smart about how to take care of their pets. And I think you doing these kinds of shows and covering these kinds of topics is part of that.
I thank you, and in closing, Dana, I loved you first time we met. I was like, I don't know anyone that knows, I know a lot of people, but you know way more people than me. And I thought I knew a lot of people. And then I feel we're doing these podcasts because, that I feel like that was the next point in my career. But honest to God, every time I've gotten done, every 7 days, and I think Chanel would agree, I think Tammy would agree, that I feel like I've just been to a seminar. It's benefiting me, because like you all just talking to you two just made me realize, like, we have to turn up the game with what our pets eat. But then someone just said this the other day. She's like, I don't even eat like that for myself. It was like, well, maybe you should. So it's like thinking, and that brings me back to what Gandhi said: our culture will be judged on the treatment of our animals. So if we are treating our animals better and how we feed them, then we should be thinking about how we feed ourselves. Because people walk around all the time saying like, no, I can't eat that, or they are in this constant just putting stuff in their body, knowing that they don't feel good afterwards, afraid to walk out the bathroom afterwards, because of what's going on in their body. So Dana, I want to just thank you for first week, every show has been like super duper educational, and I hope that people go back and listen to these podcasts. And then Holley and Carlton, you all for real, like I love that you all have made this contribution to the animal industry, because everyone that we talked to so far, Chris Freud was flying around the country rescuing dogs, and we had Artur, who came up with a technology to help the shelter industry be better. We talked about pet CPR yesterday, on how that needs to...
I actually just registered for the class for next week.
Yay! See, you converted. It's like, boom. Tammy, my aunt's just for the medical industry, so we talk about dogs and food like all the time. So I can go on forever. Thank you so much. I really want to do that. I think that'd be a fun show, Dana, to everyone test their pets. You test your cat, I test my cat, and I'm going to test my crazy little Frenchie in his stomach. Tammy's going to test her doggy. Chanel's going to test her doggy, and I think we should come back and read the results.
Yeah.
And find out. Chanel, not those results. I know Chanel's thinking like, who's the baby daddy? Not those results.
Shut up, Toriano.
When you say results, Chanel only gives, or not those results. Don't worry. But no, the results of the stomachs, right? Then you guys can break it down for us, what we should be doing for our pets, because that would be educational too. Because this is some next level what you guys are on, because people are not thinking that deep about their pet's stomach for sure. Because there's that person that's in Walmart right now. I'm picking on them. Not that you're a bad person at all, but that person that spurs by Old Roy versus the person whose kitchen looks like a science lab because they're doing raw food diet and everything in between. You guys have just created the next level of that with your beautifully packaged animal biome. Did I pronounce that right?
That's right. That's right.
Biome. Who came up with the name?
Holley.
I did. I started with kitty biome and doggy biome, but tried to unify with animal biome. Maybe someday we'll do horses and rabbits and ferrets too.
That is so awesome. All right, well, that concludes our broadcast. I just want to thank everyone. Dana, you just made my Friday because I don't know if you've been listening to other shows. I brag about you. Dana Humphrey, y'all, curated an entire month of guests. Like, she is a beast. We talked. I said I wanted to do it. And she said, she literally, I think she did it in like a week for real. All I know is that we talked about it and then my emails start. I couldn't even, and I always try to stay a beast and keep up with your emails. But literally, she's one of the only people I know that she moves faster than me. I'm like, all right, keep up with Dana. Keep up with She emails me. I try to get right back. But she curated the whole month. Stay tuned tomorrow, 11 a.m. and every day, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, the Wolfkeeper Show. Chanelli Nell, one of the best co-hosts out there that puts up with me. My aunt who puts up with me and all my madness. But the madness is for greater good, and that's for the animal industry. And I'm going to always conclude by saying there's only one alpha dog, and that's you. So go out there and love somebody hard. All right. Thank you all. Peace out. Have an amazing Friday.
Yes. Everyone have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Chabela.